Great to be here once more. Great to be here once more. I like to say massive welcome to all of you around the world. Welcome, 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 welcome. Tonight highly want to appreciate everyone who's watching us, who have just joining. I know this is a surprise. Yeah, we just wanted to have a little bit of warm evening with you there in Radio Land. If you have just tuned in, we like to say a massive welcome. This is the Abba Organic Farm Liberia Pharmacy, the only program that add value to agriculture across the world. We are once more glad to be here with you and sharing quality and incredible information with you. And we encourage you to kindly help us share the video. Kindly help us to share the video. Again, your host is Madam Abba A. Anderson. On the stream there, you will be able to get us directly. These are our contact information. You can call us by WhatsApp, and you can also have the ability to send us um, emails. So those emails or telephone numbers are active, and we encourage those following, watching us for the first time to share their views on topics that we will be discussing. Again, we are glad to be here and we encourage you to invite others to join us. So thank you, Director Urias, if they're watching us from Totota City, Lower Bone County. We want to say thank you, Director Urias, for all of your wonderful, wonderful support. Tonight is just going to be a quick one, but it is important that we share information. So we want you to fasten your seat belts and just have a little realization as we take Liberia to another level through agriculture. This is how we like to welcome you.
Fellow Liberians, as we all have entered this year 2023, we have to stand strong in building our country's economy. In doing this, we need to focus on agriculture by going back to the soil, which will help us grow our food, that will help us sustain ourselves. It is often said, and I quote, "There's only one thing that can bring our country down and also has the potential of giving our country its bright color. Our dependence on foreign countries for food and energy have led us to be spectators of our country's economy, knowing that agriculture is the backbone of our country's economy. Fellow citizens, I argue you all join the Abba Organic Farm Liberia Farmers Union every Saturday and Sunday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. on Africa 24 Online TV with their host, Ma Abba A. Anderson, the CEO and founder of Abba Organic Farm Liberia Farmers Union. For a live educative section under the topic, let's educate our farmers.
We like to say good evening to our farmers there in Lofa County, our farmers in Bon County, our farmers in Grand Cru, our farmers in Nima County, our farmers in Bon County, our farmers across Liberia. We like to say You are highly welcome to this edition of the Abba Organic Farm Liberia Farmers Union program. Tonight is going to be a brief discussion, but it's also important that we have this discussion regularly, despite the fact that we have election as one of the key things that is taking place within our environment. Despite the focus point being on what decisions we will take as Liberian, we still believe that after election, there is still going to be a Liberia. And there will be Liberians. That means we will still need to live. We will still need to eat. And we will still need to have plans for upcoming year activities. So tonight, if you are watching us from across the nation of Liberia, Africa at large, we say thank you for tuning in. That is why we are here tonight. Remember, like we said, the backbone of every nation is the hands and the development of agriculture. As it stands, Liberia is still undergoing poverty at a high extent. Why? Because the investment into agriculture has been one of the key weaknesses of our past leaders and present leaders. So therefore, we have walked our way through into uh, poverty. But better still, there is a way out. We believe that poverty can be made and poverty can be dismayed. And what we have learned is that unless we have gravitated to realization of what led us to where we are, we will always remain the same. But not everyone will grab those visions. Not everyone will see that yes, there is a way out. But we want to continue to create the atmosphere of education to our people there in Liberia and Africa as a whole. As you clearly know, the Europe and America, they are principally focused on making sure that the basic needs of their citizens are met. It is not that Europe is better than Africa. It is just the system that is in Europe and America that is distant itself from the African system. Why do I say this? When you look at Europe and America, you then realize the difference between the both countries or continents. I would say not countries, but continents. It is just one key thing: understanding the basic needs of your people. And that's what make Europe and America stand tall. And not only in economy, but also they stand tall in education, they stand tall and not only that they stand tall, but they also come with so much influence because there is a system that allow things to improve, and there is a system that allow things to be broken. America does not have what what Africa has. In fact, matter of fact, lot of people in in America depends heavily on what goes on in Africa for the European and American sustainability. Why Africa comes back to rely on what the Europeans have in stock. So it has just been like a merry-go-round, yeah, where things or people that we will expect to have or be in a better position will do the same thing and over and over. Europe does not have what it takes to be where it is. But Europe have one thing in place, which is called a system. When you look at Africa with the natural resources, these things are not here. There is nowhere here in Europe that you will find that they are digging diamonds, or they have a rubber plantation, or they have, numerous of things. All of these things are coming from Africa. So why is it that these things are coming from Africa, but yet we are in Africa, especially places like Liberia, whom has been noted as Africa oldest republic, is still ranked in 100 plus as one of the poorest. It is not lack of mineral resources. It is lacking system. It is lacking awareness. It is lacking credibility. Because even if the European comes with everything that brings to Africa, we do not look for a place to develop. What we do is that we approach it in a corrupt set of mind. That's why millions will flow into Africa, but yet we will still be hungry. So the other organic farm, Liberia farmers here, it is not just here to tell you about food production, but it is also going to stand up to educate you to why, if we do not change and continue, even if a company or a city comes to our rescue, we will not have the change we want, because we have not yet understood the principles of a system. Unless we start to build these things, we will be at the same point. And you can attest to me that despite the war, since the war, there have been increase or different companies, governmental intervention, and the rest of it all have come into the country, as small as Liberia is. But despite all of its efforts, the country still remains in the poorest. It is not because of the resources, it is the lack of management, it is the lack of sincerity and the aim of corruption that have triggered poverty in Liberia. But one thing we want to say here, unless we come to an understanding that we're doing this to ourselves, not to the American, not to the European, not to anyone else, but ourselves, we will not have a change that we want. If you look now, you will still see that it is not European that goes hunger with hunger. It is not the Europeans that go without food. It is not the Europeans that their children are not going to good hospital or good school. It is not the Europeans or the Americans that is hugely affected. Rather, it is us that have been affected mentally, physically, morally. Because our mind development has to do with everything that helps the mind to be sustaining herself or himself or themselves. Okay? So the mind is what inside of us that needs that work. Liberia has been there and is still going to be there. Even if we leave this planet today, there is still going to be called a country, Liberia. But what are we leaving behind? Or how are we living our lives? Has all to show for why we are where we are. I don't think we were doing the right thing, and all of a sudden, everything just decide to go wrong on us. No, we have just been doing the wrong thing and expecting the best results. And I'm here to show you that there is still a way out. But before I will go forward, I'm joined by our director here who is joining us. And I will ask him to kind of introduce himself and maybe he has something to say why I will continue the topic. Director, you are highly welcome.
It's a pleasure again to be able to speak to our people in the world, even to those who are residing in Liberia. It's a pleasure. By the way of introduction, I'm Augustine Jackson, Senior Director of the Press About Organic Farm Liberia Farmers Union. With the topic on the discussion today is highly, highly important because you look in our society, it's not foreigners that are being affected, it's the Liberians, because we have mismanaged our economic and it have caused whole lot of setbacks. When I say setback, you look into the health sector, you see nothing is being done. Go to the various hospitals. You have a whole lot of patients there, but they don't receive the rightful medication to resolve that issues or that problem that is affecting them. So it is not foreign nationals that are being affected. It is our own Liberian. It is the Liberian citizens that are being affected. So it is time that I think we need to wake up from our sleep. We need to start to put things into place, put the rightful administration into place, and let us start to do the right thing. Because no one else. Jesus Christ there, but he will not come down to rule Liberia. He gave us the authority, he gave us the wisdom, he gave us the power, and he gave us everything that he requires for us to lead. But the only thing that is lacking in Liberia is honesty. We are not being honest to ourselves, and that is why we are being affected greatly. And if we don't rise up and start to put things into place, things will get worse. Even if the next regime comes, until we can graduate from that stage. Put the country first and not individual, personal advancement. What you think you want, no. Until you can put the rightful authorities, the rightful thing into place, then things will begin to work. You look into the various ministries, whole lot of corruptions. People receiving the money, they are not being honest to put the rightful thing. So everything go down on the president. No, it's not only the president, but the various ministers and all the cabinet members, they are all involved. Because if 10 or 15 ministers just stand up for the truth, I don't think we will be where we are today. Look in the agriculture sector where we are. Look at the minister. She goes out there, she get a whole lot of funds, but what is the implementation? We have been on the field. We have been giving you a whole lot of reports. The reports are there. The people give the views. You listen to them. There have been now one support given to them. How do you expect the people to improve? So the people only go about what they're able to generate and just circulating just around that cycle. You go, you get it 1 day, 2 days, you eat it, you go back in the bush. What you get from there, you eat it, and then you go right back in the bush. How will liberation come? If we who are leaders, we who are in the position to make the change, we are not. So it is our responsibility. It is a burden on us for change. We have to change our mentality, change the way of doing things, change the way of thinking. And I think if we start to put those things into place, we will get wheresoever we want to get. I stopped so far and I say thank you for the show. It is highly interesting, and I want to encourage all of us who are out there listening. I want to encourage you to please support the Abba Organic Farm Liberia Farmers Union. This is not only for my Abba, this is for the entire Liberia, because when the change begin to come, it will not only come for my Abba. It's coming for all Liberians, even the government officials who are out there. They will one way or the other benefit, because when you start getting the good agro food where you will eat and you will not suffer from cancer, where you will eat and you will not suffer from diabetes or other sicknesses that can affect the body. I think we all will be a benefit to it, will be a beneficiary from it. So I want to encourage everyone that is listening out there, please, please try to send in your support whatsoever way you can get in contact with Madam Abba A. Anderson. She's the founder and CEO. She has been supporting us going out there. It's not an easy thing. Single-handed person supporting a whole group, seeing the vision that there should be a liberation and there's no one want to come in to help. It is something pitiful to look at. And now I'm using my voice to add to hers that please you get in contact with her and let us deliver Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director. That was a great, great, great touch in the message. And so I will want to say thank you to you and the entire team for allowing this message to go across Liberia. It is so heartbreaking that we will be 100 plus years and yet we still cannot feed ourselves. Our population is increasing, but we cannot feed ourselves. Our our nation is drowning into poverty all because we cannot feed ourselves. This shouldn't be happening in this DNA. This thing is like somebody or some people who are the entire nation is lacking in vision, because it is so heartbreaking to see a nation as old as Liberia that should be the mother to direct other nation is still left behind. And not only that it's been left behind, but it has been left at the bottom of poverty. Until right now, we are all just focused on government upon government upon government, but we are not investing our time and energy into developing different strategies, different areas, key areas. We sit there, we see somebody will come from Guinea, yeah, all right. And I'm not picking on the Guineans, sorry, but I just giving a education on what is happening. People will come from Mali, people will come from Senegal, and they will come to Liberia. And they come, they start to sell peanuts. Sometimes it's just cola nuts. At the end of the day, they have stores. While we, Liberians, we use our time running up and down and waiting for leadership. It is good to wait for the leaders, but it is also good to take the step forward and let them be convinced that this is indeed true. We cannot continue to live while our leaders are enjoying. If you can see those that are in power now, you can see the huge demarcation. If you were looking or you were poorly, and look at few years back and now you are in power, you can see the difference. It is so clear. There is no boundary to say, okay, these people are no different from those ones. No, there is a difference. Because the moment we get into power, everything about us is completely different, including friends and family. It's the same thing that runs through it all. Look, unless we can now start developing people to become self dependent and be able to make sure that they are able to sustain themselves, not only to wait for people to come and share or have bags of rice at the detriment of your vote. We need to do an awareness and empowerment. I know there have been series of empowerment programs that have come, but it have not yielded to much different. Why? Because there have not been consistency. And we are here to encourage everyone that it's not going to be all easy. But we are, the first thing here is to have the mindset. And that's what I want us to know as Liberians. All countries were at the same point we are now, but they did desire it and they made up their mind. They had to go through it and they were able to develop themselves today. I don't think other people are coming from different countries to come and develop a particular country alone without the citizen being involved. Even the Europe that we sit here, the America that we wish to go, it took the American who knew the value of their country to direct foreigners how to pay taxes for their development. Today, many of the people who bought homes in America have never walked out of America with those homes. Everything that was spent in that country remains there. You will only use it for your time, but you don't take it away. And unless we can start knowing these key things, as important as it is, we will not develop. There is no way somebody that has went to America, have worked for 30 years and bought big house and had luxury cars and things, were able to leave that America with those property. No, they left it right there. Matter of fact, every property you bought in America, Europe, and the rest of the areas, it is just for a time. You don't move for those things. You end up leaving it. Either you sell it after some time or you end up losing it. But I have never seen a particular property that have been bought and said, okay, because I no more want to live in this country, I'm moving with my property. Everything remains. But we pay taxes for those very property. If you look at life, then you realize that what I'm saying is not about just talking. If we can be paying taxes into different countries that developing that country, we can pay taxes to our own country and we can develop it. But we have to have a system that allow us to work and pay those taxes and that everyone will pay the same tax. We cannot have a certain group of people being paying taxes while others are free. And today, you can see the difference. If you go to JFK, you will know that these people that come to JFK are people that cannot afford. When you get in a flight, those that have been working in governmental sector and other top sector, once they get sick, what happens? They fly them all of Liberia. So those people that fly all of Liberia and die outside of Liberia, what happens to them? They don't bury them in those countries. They bring them back to Liberia. I wonder why do they bring them back? Because Liberia was not good for them when they were sick. But Liberia now becomes their home when they die. A place that you think it was not necessary to develop becomes a place that you think it is good to have a rest. Unless we can start understanding these key values of how much we have betrayed our country that led the country to where it is, I don't think we can do anything better other than accepting those key facts. We live, we travel to America, we work there, we develop America, we buy houses and stuff, we live there. And we come to Liberia for vacation. But when we fall and die, we want our body to be carried right to Liberia because we don't want to identify for where we came from. When we struggle, we put you in power instead of you developing the country that even if you are not in power, you will remain. In a country that has a system, you decide to break those vows and decide to take that money and buy houses of 40,000 and 50,000 in the United States. Good enough. But for how long are you there to live? Will you bring that money back? Will you be able to live in a house and carry the house when you die? No. Many of those are left The houses have been waived to government because why? There's nobody again to maybe pay those mortgage. So what happens is that people pay mortgage, and after you cannot pay any longer, government takes it over. All your life, all that you worked for, gone back to zero. And so that's why it is important that we understand that what we develop for ourselves is what we live into for years. Taking all the mineral resources and selling it out of the country have not built the country up. Not even one individual who has been rich from the time they've been selling, they don't need no more money till today. Every day they need money. Why? Because it have been sold, but the money has not been used for the right purpose. That's why since the war, people have been looting. They looted a lot of people, businesses, they looted a lot of companies and stuff. But those that did those looting, if you ask them today, where are those things that you looted? They have nothing. Because it has to go. It's a principle. We need to understand that we have done a lot. We kill one another. At the end of the day, we still have not come to developing Liberia. Better still, Liberia has gone worse than it was in the 90s. In the 80s, are still better than where we are today. At least in the 80s, we had running water, we had good electricity, schools were open, people had good medical facility, people were living their lives. Now in Liberia, we are yet to even have stable electricity for 1 week. But yet, we have killed millions of people because we feel change is what we think. But change is beyond what we think. Change is actually what we do. That's what makes change. Because we have to have it in our mind and we do it. And that's what makes change. So tonight, those of you that have been watching me across different platforms, I want us to just realize that we all contributed to where Liberia is today. And there's no exception that I will take to say this person is exempted because we all contributed. Maybe this person was your brother and you were happy that they got in power. Or maybe this person, you know them, that's your friend, so you were happy. But have we all not realized how our country is? How do we feel when a poor man is sick and you take him to JFK to die? But the one that sucked all your resources and store of your income, when he's sick, you fly him to India and you await his arrival in a coffins. You fly into America, you are waiting for his arrival in a coffin. Can you see the pattern of how we have all contributed? If we had a good system, a good medical facility, many of the people that have died today will have not died because of negligence. And I'm not saying that nobody would have died, but all I'm saying, the death rate could be minimized. All I'm saying, those children that today that we are laughing that they are taking coups and they are laying on the floor, they are walking, will have had a better life. A system needs to be built. I don't need to wait for 1 million to get in my account. I just need to realize and believe that yes, I can work towards this. And I'm calling on you as Liberians all around the world to join me in this fight. It's not going to take a 1 day. It's not even going to come easily. But determination is what we hold on to with God above. So I want to encourage you. Let us make this happen for once. Like we stood and agreed that the war must come to an end. And it did happen. Now we can stand together and agree that poverty has to come to an end in Liberia. And we can do this. If were able to come together, despite of the war that allow us to kill one another, and today we can be able to live in our very community. That's why what tribe you belong to. We still live and eat and go to the same churches and sit in the same hall and go to the same school. We together can liberate Liberia. My message to you tonight is let us get together. Let us get together and liberate our country. How much more will we wait and see the country drowning? The future leaders are dying in the hands of cocaine and other drugs. What are we doing about it? Maybe it's not affecting you directly, but indirectly it will affect you. Because Liberia is all we got in common. Let us build a society that will allow us to live in it. I want to go back home. You want to go back home. We want to go back home. What can we do now to make home affordable for us, sustainable for us, and a developed society? We together can do this. Let us work, let us remain focused, and let us all share these videos, because these videos is going to speak for us our tomorrow. Let us be recalled for what we done, not what we take. Let us be recorded for what we will do and not what we will take. Let us give. Because even the Bible said to us, blessed is the him that giveth. So let us give back. Liberia is drowning. We need a country that we can call our own. We can live anywhere else, but we are from somewhere which we cannot despise. Let us rebuild. Let us unite. And let us remain focused. As we head towards election, I like to conscientize every Liberians to rise up and vote this time. Vote not because you know me. Vote not because you know them. Vote because you want the truth. You want a better Liberia. Vote because Liberia is all you have. Let us vote in peace and in unity. Let us show to the world we can do this and we can do this together. Let this election be peaceful and let it be transparent. Let us all come together and live in peace and harmony. God bless us as we look forward for a greater Liberia through the development of agriculture. God bless you all and have a pleasant good night. From the heart of the Abba Organic Farm family to you tonight, we love to say, have a pleasant good night. Director, you want to say something just before we close?
Yeah, anyway, like you have rightly said, we all need to come together to build Liberia. And I think it is time that we wake up from our sleep. Maybe we've been sleeping, but it's time that we wake up, and everything that we should do or we want to do now, we should think about Liberia first. Let us all put Liberia ahead of our own activities, because that's the only way Liberia will be what we want it to be. And we hope and pray for a better election. We want it peaceful. encourage our citizens to go about it peaceful. We disagree with any act of violence, as we know we have all sang the song of peace, and we know what we all passed through the 15 years. We hope and pray that we shouldn't travel that road. Let our brothers and sisters take in mind that Liberia is all we have. If you leave from here and go to another country, they call you foreigner or you are a refugee. And we pray and hope that that will not be repeated. We know our residents here or the citizens of Liberia, most of them, they have experienced a whole lot when they were in the refugee camps in those various countries. And we only that we can call our home. So let us vote and vote wisely, and let us do it in a peaceful manner. That is just my piece of advice to all our citizens. And I want to say thank you for affording me the time. By the way of introduction again, I'm Augustine J. Jackson, and I say bye-bye from my end.
Thank you, Director Jackson. And so we'd like to say thank you to all of you that have been watching us across the world. And a pleasant good night to you. To all of our first-time voters as well, the silent voters, we also say good night to you and all Liberians across the world, as well as African and all nationals. We like to say a pleasant good night. This is how we come to the end of tonight's edition. Sit back and enjoy this.
Fellow Liberians, as we all have entered this year 2023, we have to stand strong in building our country's economy. In doing this, we need to focus on agriculture by going back to the soil, which will help us grow our food, that will help us sustain ourselves. It is often said, and I quote, "There's only one thing that can bring our country down and also has the potential of giving our country its bright color. Our dependence on foreign countries for food and energy have led us to be spectators of our country's economy, knowing that agriculture is the backbone of our country's economy. Fellow citizens, I argue you all join the ABBA Organic Farm Liberia Farmers Union every Saturday and Sunday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. on Africa 24 Online TV with their host, Ma Abba A. Anderson, the CEO and founder of ABBA Organic Farm Liberia Farmers Union. For our live educative section under the topic, let's educate our farmers.
Moment